Hello, good evening, good morning, greetings wherever you are. My name is Toliva. Welcome to the Haveli Global Experts.
Won't you come, take me home? Won't you come, take me home? Someone please, take me home. Please, take me home.
This season, Men Building Africa, we are engaging the women who have taken the decision to step in the built environment, to create impact. Today we are joined by Miss Immaculate Nantongo, CEO of My Fab Homes, Uganda, and the proprietor of a large community called Fabulous Beautiful Homes. Miss Nantongo created this community to bring together like-minded women, and through it has been encouraging and leading women to home ownership. We would like to understand a little bit about why you got into this space before we get into the technical questions.
Immaculate Nantongo is a mother and a wife at the time, as a single mother. And one of the challenges that I faced at the time, 2017, I wanted to start building my house, a house where I can house my children. I was tired of renting. So at that time, Facebook was such a very big, so we had so many communities where people were sharing about motherhood and all these other things. But in that time, there was no space where people would share about construction, their journey in construction. And construction is really a very lonely place to be in, because you're juggling engineers, you're juggling fundis, you're juggling architects. So for me, at that time when I created my platform, the purpose was just for people, homeowners, to share their experience, to look out for service providers. Yeah, so that's how I launched Fabulous Beautiful Homes. At that time, it was called My Fab Home, My Fabulous Home. Why? Because now I was building my fabulous home. So that's how I started the My Fabulous Home platform, and people became, at that time, many people joined, because we found that there was a gap at that time, a platform where you can easily get an engineer, an electrician, a plumber, an architect, a land surveyor. They were all there in one area, and you, the layman, could get advice from them, or you could hire them. So the platform brought together so many people who are aspiring homeowners to home decor, so different, no matter which stage. Even if we actually had many people, after a while, people were like, okay, we are seeing these beautiful houses, we're inspired, but we don't even have land. So that is how actually I realized that we had many people not having land, and that's how the land saving scheme comes in. Yes.
And so you came to close the gap in land ownership.
Yes.
What is it that you do uniquely in closing this gap?
Okay, if you look at our economy, Uganda, people hear about land and people want to buy land, but you have to look at what is the biggest age for the population. And most people are young, between their 20s and 30s to 40s, but based on their income, they would not be able to afford land.
Right.
Yeah, so yes, you could see land, a piece of land at 20 million, but do you have the 20 million? Yeah. So I had people come to my inbox, and many times, I remember a gentleman specifically who told me, I have 3 kids. One is in P7, he's going in Form 1 at the time. I haven't yet built for my house, my children, and I'm afraid I might not be in position, because as the children are growing, they are having a difficulty. It's hard for me to buy land or to build them a house. Even some single moms came to me with the same thing, like, oh, Immaculate, how did you get land? How did you get land? Because if you have the land, then the building becomes easier and like that. So that is how I thought about it. And wait a minute, why can't I bring together these Ugandans who are in my community already, in the fabulous My Fabulous Home, and then we buy land as a group and then subdivide it into smaller plots. so that each person can easily get a plot. So the dynamics of getting a plot alone, the difficulty in getting up, because we needed in Uganda at that time, I am actually proud to know that my mode of business, I was the first kind of person to do it in the whole of East Uganda.
Oh,
Yes. So before people, you needed to pay up front for the land, but now we are saying first save and then buy. With saving and then buying, that means you're going to get land at a lower price. Because you're buying as a community, you're not buying as a retail person.
Right.
You're buying a bulk. And this enabled people, why? If they could get a small percentage of their salaries, and that salary is every month a small percentage of their salaries, it wouldn't, we made owning a plot easier in terms of the person was doing it step by step.
right.
Yeah, not like as a whole, because when you look at it, I need 20 million, I need 8 million to buy a piece of land. Where am I going to get it? And that's the challenge people are having. But here we're saying, no, save a certain amount daily. At the end of the year, you'll have accomplished this money,
Right.
and then you'll be able to buy land.
From my experience, when it comes to our local Ugandan culture, saving culture, let's be honest, we are not very good savers in Uganda. It's a trend that is shifting. Tell me how complicated or how easy it was to convince, to get people to begin, first of all, to let go of their income, and to trust you with their income.
Okay. I'm not going to, first of all, I will say it's the grace of God that God puts favor on you. Because tell me how you can convince strangers. At that time, I think our group was around 200,000 members. How do you convince strangers you've never seen to say, okay, invest with me, give me your money, I'll buy for you land? So I would say that it's the grace of God, but also I had an online presence before even I started that group. I had done various businesses, and so through that, people had seen my track record of social media.
Right.
I had done businesses and I had delivered. But then also, you see, as I mentioned, the people who joined me, there were people who were having challenges,
Right.
and they needed the land. They didn't know how.
And you appeared as a symbol
As
of
a
hope.
savior,
Yeah.
because as I mentioned, our group is a collection of different people on different stages of life.
Right.
There are people who have built homes like mega mansions. We have people who are starting out. We have people who are doing land. There are people who are doing shops, who are doing rentals. So it has different people. But at that time, if you have a need, Fifi, as you, and someone is willing to, or you see someone who is able to help you achieve
that which you have not managed
that which
to do so far.
Yeah, you're drawn to them. So
Right.
at that time, it's one of the solutions. Right now, we have a housing deficit in the country, and at any one point, as an African person, an African is drawn to having their own. We are not like maybe Bazungu, whites, and what who. There's a sense of, to be a true African, you have to own a home. It is embedded in our culture. We might not say it, but our home is a status symbol of you've made it, you're providing security. So all these people who join are people who wanted security for their families. Like imagine someone, they're 35, they're 40, and they've not
Built a
they have
home.
not
Yeah.
built a home. And
Yes.
you're raising 3 kids in a rental, 2 bedrooms with a maid there and everything. So there was really a demand for it at that time.
Acknowledging that this is a largely male-dominated field.
Yes.
When I was doing my MBA research, out of 18 people that I interviewed in 2 countries, there was only 1 woman.
Oh, wow.
And all the men that I interviewed were at C-suite level. The woman was middle management. And I remember she and I had this chat, and we were just acknowledging what we see on paper. Women in real estate, 1 are few, thank goodness the numbers are changing. Lately,
Yeah,
we see more female students.
Yeah.
But even then, when we go into the field, we are quite timid.
Yeah.
And then you get into the field and you find that she's probably trained as a valuer. Ideally, she should be going out to the field, but she'll leave that to the men and stay here and
stay
write
in the
reports.
office. Yes.
You see?
Yes.
So, with how traditional our thinking in Uganda is, what has been the biggest difficulty you've encountered breaking into this space?
My mentor is a man.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a man, Mr. Chisto Bashiri. He's a man, but even then, when I was starting out, he's the one person I told my dream, and he believed me, and he encouraged me. He said, "Immaculate, you have such a good idea." He vouched for me. So I don't think I've ever been in a space where I'm intimidated by any man.
Your platform has grown into one of the largest housing communities in the region. What does this tell you about the gaps that traditional housing institutions have been unable to fill?
So we have to look at Uganda and the region as a whole.
Yeah.
We are an emerging economy where our countries are still young. Because our countries are still young, even our population is young. Now, on traditionally, real estate, I think the biggest real estate company we began with was in region before that was Property Masters. Things have changed. The population, the Ugandan population, 18 to 35, they are mostly online.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any person who wants a property, they are going to be drawn to the online platforms, the different online platforms. So because of that, the people who are before us, they did not realize the importance of social media at that time.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because they ignored that. They expected you to just know them. But how are you going to know? So there was a gap. The gap was lack of information.
Right.
Like your target market doesn't know about you.
And on the other hand, even your ability to dispense that information you would share is harder if you're not online, which is
Yes.
what your platform.
Yes.
Close.
And, actually, the platform is one of my biggest achievements because now we are coming to 10 years of our platform.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 10 years. And that even now that Facebook is no longer as big as
active,
it was,
yes.
but still it is relevant. 10 years on, we haven't gone off what we originally signed up to do.
Right.
We are still doing the same thing, serving the same people, and I can tell you more than I get messages. People randomly send me money. Not what you did for me. You
Right.
don't know what you did for me. I remember when I started to realize the impact of the community. I got someone, she sent me money. She said, I met the Queen of Uganda to do for them cuttings of our what. But she got me off the platform. I was like, wow. Yes. And her business has never remained the same.
Wow.
Yeah, at that time, yeah. So that's some years ago, but she will acknowledge. And I even up to now, I get different people. If you ask most people who are into this business, they'll tell you Fabulous has had an impact from engineers getting clientele, because now you have a place where if I'm an engineer, I am going to wait for someone to know me, to connect me in terms of referrals. You understand?
Yes, yes.
But now I have a platform. The people who are joining are interested in my service. By the fact that you're joining Fabulous Homes, it means you're either looking for land, you're either looking for construction, you're either doing interior. So we're giving you a platform where all these people are.
Right.
Because of that, many people, clients have gotten services. Industry experts have gotten awareness that we have bridged the gap. From where is my customer? The customer is online. The customer is online, is on the platform every day. So
Right.
you have easy access to the client.
We've seen it's obvious that people, from your example, are relying more on communities and peers to access construction-related information as opposed to the traditional industry channels. Now, we know the traditional industry channels are usually governed by professional associations, right? How do you vet what kinds of service providers? How do you, can I say, check for credibility? What quality controls you put in place to safeguard people?
In the first year, I had this dream. I didn't want, if you say you're an engineer,
Right.
we had to have a meeting, a separate group of experts and a group. So we said, okay, if you say you're going to give advice on engineering, engineering
Show me your
works.
credentials.
Yeah,
whatnot.
we had a meeting, we took out names and what. So people, if we recommend someone, like, oh, you work with this one, that is my firm putting their weight
Right.
over this person.
Right.
So because those are the people who would promote. Actually, I promoted these experts, to be honest. I never got any penny from them.
Right.
At the time, I just wanted, if you're going to want an engineer, he should be an engineer.
You should be credible. You've done your background checks on them and whatnot.
I had meetings with relevant experts, and we have a WhatsApp group. So it's from that. You also follow them first to see who they are as a people. And, yeah. But also, Fifi, you've never gone to the engineering body to get the engineer for your house.
That is true.
Yeah, so-
But you see, usually we work with the assumption that the relevant have already, by the time this person is in the field, they've gotten some kind of certification. We work on that assumption. And by the same measure, we will work on the assumption that anyone can simply join a Facebook community.
Yes,
Yeah?
yeah.
There is no barrier to entry there. And so it's very easy for even unscrupulous people
Of
to
course.
get aboard.
Of
So
course.
what I see here is that it was intentional on your part to ensure that the team that you have that are people are now recommending within the community are people you've vetted and verified.
Yes. Well, also, but for me, even at the beginning, I was like, I need to have these people register them so that also we're running different campaigns like Ask the Expert, where I
Right.
would, those days, I miss those days. I used to have time and call an engineer to explain to people, an architect, who is an architect, what should I look out for?
Right.
So we dedicate a lot of people. How can I bring you? By the time I used to do YouTube videos, how can I bring you on my video and I say you're an architect, now you're not an architect? Yeah? So it was important to me that the people, the interior designers, who's the valuers.
You verify and be
Yeah,
sure before you put your stamp of approval.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think, yes, that's the place where quality is saved. Sometimes people will build, can I say, credibility with experience. You know, there are things that when you ask someone, did you study this thing in school? And you see how incredible they are at it. And you cannot believe that they learned on job, right? And not to take away from that. But then that becomes a bit hard to prove when you find yourself in a bit of a sticky situation. By bringing that, in Uganda, we are so informal. It's 2026 and we are still that informal. Because we are very informal, it's very easy to assume that a community like that, it would become easy to skip certain steps. So it's encouraging to learn that at least
The people, we as a group, me as a group admin, me as a founder, that I would recommend, I had to first verify them.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But also we used to just tell people that, you know what, when you get a client of here or a person, do your research. At least ask us. But if you do your business separate and you come back to us. But also, I remember there was a time one person failed to deliver, and the person engaged us. So we also had, unfortunately, to engage them.
Because it was on your platform,
It was
a
on your
good thing
platform,
to.
yes.
I
So
see.
like, how do you go about this? How do you deliver? And eventually, it was worked out on different timelines for delivery. Yeah, and they delivered eventually.
Have you observed differences in how women and men approach home ownership, property investment, and housing decisions?
I think men naturally are more logical than women.
And how does that translate in the housing space?
For example, a man is going to say, okay, this is my budget. this is how much I have. I have 8 million, or I work and my job I'm able to save 8 million. So he will look for a plot within that range.
Right.
The woman on the other hand, my friend stays in Nigeria. I would like a plot there. You understand?
Right, right.
Yeah. So women, we tend to see things from the emotional side. Okay, maybe I will get the money eventually. Maybe, but the man will make decisions.
And then down the road.
Yeah, the man will make a decision based on what he has, the facts on ground.
Right,
Yeah.
right. What barriers continue to limit women's participation across the housing value chain, as homeowners, as investors, as developers, as professionals, and as entrepreneurs?
First of all, one of the biggest challenges we have, I think, across Africa is the mindsets. I have not traveled to many African countries, but our culture as Africans, we tend to look at land or home ownership, because anyway, it all begins from land as something that a man has to do. Well, yeah. So if you look at traditionally, even land was passed on to our brothers when our father died. You would see that inheritance
Follows the male side
women,
of the family.
Yeah, women were not given land. So because of that, it's so ingrained in us that you'll find a woman, she'll have money, and she'll tell you, I will buy the most expensive car, I will do this, I will not buy a piece of land. And you ask her why. Because if I buy land, a man will fear me and refuse to marry me. Then the woman will say, oh, a man will be intimidated by me. So that's our mindset. But it's so ingrained in our culture. So if we can't change that, and I love, I have a friend of mine, she was telling me some time back, many years ago, she was telling me, my grandmother, she might not have been educated or at the forefront, but in her years, her grandmother should be like 100 now.
Right.
In her useful years, she bought a lot of property.
Right.
She was not a partaker of her family property, but she bought a lot of property. So she was trying to break certain cycles, even for her children. So she bought a lot of land. She has a lot of land in Munyenga, Bukoto, and what. And she was telling me, the grandmother was telling her, I had to do this because one, I did not take part of the inheritance of my father, but I wanted my daughters to know that it is possible even for you as a woman. This is an uneducated woman, but she had that mindset, and I am sure all her aunties had learned. Even my friend, for her building her house was a no-brainer.
Right, because
now
of
she
the
had
example set
seen,
from back behind.
Yes,
So I guess we are saying the biggest barriers are one, mindset,
yes.
and two, cultural leanings, which I want to believe that we are drawing away from.
I cannot say we are still there, but
There's still a long way to
there's
go.
a long way to go. Yeah.
Right. What opportunities do you see emerging for women who want to play a greater role in shaping Africa's built environment?
Women have the same opportunities as men, as
Absolutely.
I speak,
Absolutely.
and from my experience.
Yes,
Because
yes.
when I go to maybe to buy land or a property that I want to develop,
Right,
I'm not being seen as a woman.
right,
Yeah, I'm seen as a buyer.
right,
You
right.
understand? And if
Just
at
show me the money.
Yes, and if at any one point someone is trying to undermine my decision, me as a business person, I don't mind.
Yes, because ultimately you're thinking the profit that will come out of it.
Yes, yes.
So put emotions out of
Yeah,
it.
so it's not about women as Africa. We are a developing economy, which is so excellent that there are lots of opportunities. Right now, I would say, as today thinking about it, we have all these people who come and say they are doing affordable housing. Is
You've
it
gone
really
there ahead of me.
affordable? You can really do affordable housing. When I was in this space, I was dealing with the very lowest of the income earners. But I don't even know if I should say this, but few companies are worth what we are worth. So, but we are dealing, when you look at it, you're like, what is your margin? What is your margin? You're selling a plot of 7 million. We started at 3 million. 3 million Uganda shillings. So, but now we have moved. Even our highest plots are not very expensive. So you look at who is the majority of Africans.
Of Africa's population.
Yes.
Right.
So me, I look at your niche. Me, I cater for the low income earners, promising them this dream of you can have good service.
You can have, yes, a home. Yeah. You've already said let's not make this about women, but regardless, the question was about how women can play a greater role. Affordable housing, I like to say, is quite relative.
Yeah.
So
when you say affordable, according to who? The Ugandan affordability is not the US affordability.
Even within Uganda, affordability is different based on income brackets.
Yeah.
So in the typical sense, for a house to be affordable, to be considered affordable, someone should be comfortable spending about 30% of their income on a house for it to be considered affordable. So I'm guessing your scheme, if somebody is contributing towards land ownership, which is the first step in home ownership, and they're being consistent about it, we'll imagine that perhaps they are within the 30% that they can afford to spare. And I guess we can conclude and say that the gap really here, the opportunity is for more people to engage with providing affordable housing for low income earners, as in your case.
What I would want to say, opportunities for women and generally for everyone. I wouldn't say that opportunities is in providing low income housing. You've talked about there are so many things in real estate that a person can do, not just selling land. When a person was talking about real estate, they just knew brokers.
Right.
But there are so many things you can finance. You can
that is true.
You can flip houses. You can do what.
That is true.
Identify a gap and fill that.
I guess I was coming to that conclusion because you were speaking about the affordability vis-a-vis what is being called affordable in the market, and yet in certain market segments, in as much as that's not affordable for the lower income earners, what is in the market as affordable housing is actually affordable for certain market segments.
Yes.
We have already seen that you have an approach that has helped people who ideally would have thought that they could not be able to finance home ownership. Is there another home financing avenue that you have been able to observe in your work in the field?
Please.
Maybe let's say suited specifically to our Ugandan market, because why is this important? In Africa, mortgage penetration is less than 5%. You see, so we have to think of every kind of innovative way.
Why?
Please go ahead.
Do you know why? Because the interest rates are high.
Exactly. So now, when you come up with a model like yours that works, some of us are going to be just a little bit greedy and say, if your mind worked that way before you even got in the space, now that you're in the space and clearly you have a mindset for that kind of thing, what is the next big thing you think that could be helping us solving this financing problem in Leicester, in Africa?
For me personally, my solutions are the same. I see a gap and I take it on. So with the members that we have had, then we said, okay, now we got land, then what? That's when we started Tuzimbe building scheme.
Oh, tell us about Tuzimbe building scheme.
Okay, so Tuzimbe is the same thing as the land saving scheme. Right now, instead of saving for land,
now you're saving to build.
Yes,
interesting.
Saving to build.
Okay.
And we are looking at it for African solutions. For you to get the African dream, and you're an everyday woman.
Yes.
You can't look at it as a wholesome house.
Right.
You have to break it down into stages, manageable stages. Because if you look at a house complete, someone will tell you a house will take 300 million. No. There are houses which have been built 3-bedroom and they're 50 million. And even if you don't have 50 million, do you have 5 million? Can you sell first for the foundation? Let's deal with the foundation. You understand? After you've done the foundation, now can we put up the walls? can we roof? Yeah, so when you take it a step at a time, I realized that's how actually I built my house.
Okay.
And at that time, I didn't know that it was a model for how us to do business. Yeah, I didn't know, but I built like in stages, furnished my house in stages. That I didn't have any loan. When I finished my house, and I had entered, and my friend came and told me, how much did you spend on your house? I told her 50 million. She was like, you're kidding. I'm like, no. But the house, if you looked at it at that time, it was so massive. And she was like, I think you spent like 120. I was like, why would I have gotten 120 million? But I tackled it. I remember I started saving slowly, 7 million.
So it comes down to breaking it down to stages and picking on one bite-sized piece at a time. Let's look forward a bit. Since you've been in this industry long enough, I'm sure there have been probably market realities or policy or technological gaps and challenges that you feel without them, your work could have been easier, better, received faster or something. What recommendation in that regard do you think would make the greatest impact in housing affordability in Africa?
In Africa, I'll speak mainly for my country because the policies countries are different.
Fair
but for
point.
Uganda, you see, our policies have not been working. They have not been working. There's no zoning. It's there on paper.
Okay. Implementation is the problem.
Has not been there. And because of that, we are seeing right now people's homes are being demolished.
Right, because they built in the wrong.
Yes, but who passed that? Who passed that plan?
Who approved it?
Who approved the plan to have it running for that house to be built?
Right.
So before even we talk about
future policies, let's talk about implementing what is currently there well. Right.
So if we implement the ones we have, and I'm glad I was saying the other time. So when I started my business, it was hard. It was really hard because in Uganda there is a lot of fraud.
As in many places. Let's not say there is a lot of fraud in Uganda. Let's
but there
say
was a lot of land fraud.
There is a lot of land fraud visible at that time.
Yes, because you could not verify.
Right.
First of all, if I'm buying a piece of land, there was a time when if you're buying a piece of land, you go to do a search, they just tell you this land is registered in Nantongo Immaculate.
And yet the person selling it to you has a different name.
No, it could be Nantongo Immaculate.
Yes, but another Nantongo Immaculate.
Yeah, many people were defrauded a lot of money. Yeah, and I remember I used to go to initial lands and I say, can we have photos attached? So yes. That would actually make a lot of sense. So I am so glad last year it was rolled out. Every time you make a search,
there is a picture.
There's a picture of the person. So you're able to see
which Nantongo this is.
Nantongo is. Is the person I'm standing next to or not?
Okay, so now on the positive side, what gives you the most optimism about the future of housing on the continent?
What gives me hope is because now people are willing. We as a country, we are not isolated, and people are more informed on what they want. They are going after good housing. We're not just building anyhow.
Right.
Yeah, so that gives me a lot of optimism. And also because we're a young country.
Yeah.
Because we're a young country, that means even 5 years from now, our kids, they'll have more exposure on not building a certain way.
Right.
Unsustainable building practices.
Right.
So because those ones are, people are getting more exposure, they are exposed, I know we shall build good housing.
More sustainably, basically.
Yeah, and affordably.
Amy, this is a very good note on which to close off. It's been very lovely having you. All right. I guess it's a good time to say
our listeners and viewers.
Please take me home.